Hi, and welcome to the Messy Garage. Today we're going to look at a little bit of a controversial product. This is from Icon Tools at Harbor Freight. It's the new Icon 10-inch pliers wrench, which has some people a little bit unhappy, but I'm going to compare it to my Knipex equivalents and give you my thoughts. If you like this video, please click the like button. Also, subscribe would be really appreciated. And with that, we'll get into it. Welcome back. Apologies for my absences. It's been a while and it's not lack of content, it's a little bit extra life. But today I wanted to talk about a product that's really caused a really significant stir, it seems like, and it's the Icon Pliers Wrench. This is brand new from Harbor Freight in their premium Icon product line. And if you're a tool nut at all, as of course I am, this is going to look awfully familiar compared to our friends from Knipex. So, yeah, obviously, it's an almost identical copy, and I'll show you a few differences, subtle as they are, between the original Knipex design, and there are actually a couple versions, and what Icon came out with. And this has caused a lot of stir. A lot of people are really angry that Harbor Freight didn't take the opportunity to do some things that are a little bit Knipexy, if I'll use that phrase. And I kind of agree with that. I mean, the patents are expired from Knipex, and obviously this is a, not very significantly different knockoff tool, if you will. But, I am a little disappointed by the fact that they didn't take a little bit of time to change it so that it is a little less, obviously, a complete copy. They say on their packaging, designed by Icon Tools in the USA. It is a Taiwan manufactured tool, where Knipex is made in Germany. But the thing is, designed what? I mean, they made a really, really good copy. And I don't think there's, to be honest, any shame in that. The whole point of patents expiring is for good technology to come to the consumers at lower prices once the inventor of the technology has had the chance to get their value out of it and protect them during that time. But once the patents expire, that's it. So I wanted to give a few thoughts on what it is. I actually have a full set of Knipex. I actually have the 5-inch as well. So this is the 180 millimeter or 7-inch. This is the 250 millimeter or 10-inch, which is what the Knipex is as well. But you kind of see a combination of things here with the Knipex. So the newer version, which is what my 250 is, has these facings here, which allow the use of soft jaws. There are some raised knurled panels, for grip, I guess. To be honest, can't think that I'm ever really but so much off the handle. But that's the two big differences here between the Knipex early version, which this is, and see the lack of the soft jaw facings and no knurled area on the handle. I don't really have much of a preference, but let's kind of go through some of the differences. This is closer in all respects to the older version. These do have patents that I don't believe actually extend beyond the original patent for these that has expired, but Icon, probably for cost reasons, didn't do some of this newer, fancier stuff. And if you look at older versions, I've seen a couple other YouTube things and some pictures on the internet of places where the old or super original have that same casting mark here, things like that. So these are the older design, but a newer version. Now, I will tell you, people say, oh, what's rough casting or whatever. I mean, Knipex is not really going for high fit and finish here. I mean, it's a relatively rough casting. There's still some parts that hypothetically could have been ground out, but overall, I think fitting, people talk about rough castings and things like that. I don't think that matters. It's not a high polished tool. So a couple small things beyond that, Knipex tapers their handle. So if you look back here, you can see where they've kind of pulled the metal in. I think that helps with weight because these are definitely a little heavier. I think 100 grams is what I saw on one of the other videos. Although it does feel kind of overall heavier. Maybe it's the alloy also here with the Icon. Different grips as well. This is a thicker, softer, actually, a little bit gnarly, nubby kind of texture here on the handle. Probably good when things are oily and slick, and pretty comfortable. I mean, when you're really on this thing, I think you get less metal hardness with the Icon than you do the Knipex. Not that that's a big deal. A Torx screw versus a Phillips screw, who cares? A few other things you'll notice, the updated version of the Knipex actually opens slightly wider out to 52 versus 50 for the Icon. It is marked, they're both claimed 2 inches, but this one really is slightly less than 2 inches. I don't really care. I haven't used a 2-inch fastener. I do like the laser etching, and actually it's something they kind of stole from the newer versions because the old versions didn't have that laser etching for how wide open the tool is. So this little guy here provides you a window for what size you're setting it for, so metric and SAE, and the older versions don't really have that or do that on the Knipex. So in terms of things, there really are pieces of both in the Icon, if you will. One other thing I noticed in terms of design is the teeth on the Knipex are really, really sort of deep and sharp. And believe it or not, that actually makes it a little sticky sometimes to adjust. Not a big deal. Now on my 7-inch, which gets more use, they're much smoother. I think they've kind of rounded off the teeth a little bit. But here on the Icon, still plenty of depth to hold, but the adjustment is smoother feeling right out of the box. So I'm not saying they did that on purpose, to be honest, but just something I noticed. The thing you'll kind of see back to the head design, there's a little bit, even closed, there's a little bit of a recess here, and I wonder if that's what cost them the 2 millimeters of opening there. You can also see how Knipex sort of ground the edge here and a flat spot where it's just overall rounded here at the back. Probably saved some steps here. So one other area of difference over the brief technical delay, these shoulders you see here is kind of providing a lander. This is the Knipex, provides a landing spot when this thing is opened, to its sort of maximum area. And what you'll see on the Icon is really just round. I mean, it lands. It doesn't seem to really have any particular landing spot. I don't know if that's a functional or just a fit and finish difference. To me, I think that's an interesting little piece of detail you see in the Knipex, and that's what you should expect. I mean, this is kind of a snap-on level price tool, $60+ versus $39.99 for this. So, for 50% more, I like all the additional steps in finishing. Although, as I said, with things like that, they're not really going for a polished chrome look or anything like that there with the Knipex. So, a few little differences between the two there. In terms of build and execution, I've kind of commented that the casting is a little different. This has a somewhat finer, it's kind of a matte chrome finish, or this might be nickel plated or something like that. It is a little rougher. I don't really care. It's a tool. But, that's one kind of difference people kind of jump at right away, is that the Knipex really does have one more level of fit and finish when it comes to things like rounding off edges, the finishing overall. But, I don't think that's a giant deal. In terms of function, I really think they both work fine. I've used this quite a bit through and just kind of compared the two on various bolts around the messy garage, and it works fine. I really do like how the ratcheting action, as you're, of course I don't have a bolt handy, bad preparation, but as you're able to go across and do sort of a ratcheting action with the pliers wrench, it's great. It's also really good if you've bent something, a little piece of metal and it's bent, flattening it out, with it fully closed and kind of walking along the bend. I've used my Knipex set for that purpose many times, more than I expected. So it's good. I like it. So in terms of the quality, what people are expecting from an Icon versus a Knipex, with the lifetime warranty and being branded Icon, I expect Harbor Freight has delivered a high quality tool. I personally feel like when I really grab on this thing and have tightened some stuff with it, it doesn't feel like it's flexing or going to break or anything like that any differently really than the Knipex. The weight is a little bit heavier here for the Knipex, which is something I would possibly think about, carrying it around during the day. I bought this one to take to car shows and as a loaner tool and things like that, that if this goes missing or broken, I'm not going to cry to the degree I would, if my nice garage tools went missing or dead. So, as a backup tool for me, I'm very happy with this. If you want to stick with the guy who invented it, there's nothing, of course, wrong for Knipex. They are not cheap. They are wonderful in customer service. I believe that they make fantastic tools. I have several other Knipex products and very much enjoy them. Would totally recommend them to anyone. But if you don't want to pay that money, I think the Harbor Freight tool, the new Icon product, is just fine. I think they should skip the designed in USA and whatever. I think that's a little silly. But in terms of value, I think it's maybe a little high. I'd like to see it at $35 instead of $40. So when the coupons come out, you can get it around 30 or maybe a little less on a big coupon. But in general, I think it's at 50, at 2/3 the price of a equivalent Knipex. I think it's a decent deal. Like I said, would like to see it about $5 more. I would like to have seen them do a few things to make it look less like a Knipex clone. But, they're not doing anything that is against the law, and they're providing pretty good value for the money. So that's my quick, not so quick, maybe take on the Knipex Pliers Wrench. They're really cool tools to have around. I think anybody who doesn't think they need one should look at their adjustable wrenches and think how much they enjoy using them. This is a better tool. Really, really like these. Some people compare these to channel locks. I don't think so. That's really more of a Cobra water pump pliers kind of thing. This is a whole different animal, and it's a really great animal. So really would like to see a 7-inch out of Icon if they're going to be in this area, because that's my most used, as I mentioned, of my Knipex pairs. I got a third pair, 5, 7, and 10 inch, but the 7 is really the workhorse. But happy with this, and I would recommend it. And that's it from the Messy Garage today. Have a good one. Stay messy.